We are celebrating St. Luke today, and thank goodness for that. Because if not for St. Luke, the Greek doctor, we would all have to learn Hebrew to speak to Jesus. But now we can speak Greek to Jesus, because St. Luke taught him Greek. I'm kidding. Nobody has a sense of humor here. All right. Now it's going to go on YouTube, and now people are going to say, Father said that he speaks Greek. So today is a very interesting gospel, and it talks about now this gentleman, this rich gentleman, but doesn't necessarily have to be a rich gentleman, and he is thinking to himself, what is he going to do with his life? And it talks about his grain and what he's going to do, but he's really concerned about what he's going to do with all of this wealth he has accumulated. Now, we don't necessarily need to accumulate wealth to think like this person, all right? Many times we are involved in the things that we are doing in our lives, and so we don't really pay attention to those things that God is calling good. And so like this rich man, and again, it doesn't need to be a rich man, we get caught up in those cares of life. And certainly, I have been subject to that, and I continue to be subject like that because we all live in the world. And what ends up happening is that without something to remind us of that, without something that says, as Jesus says, you fool, your life may be required of you today. Without that in our lives, then we tend to just move through life like the rich man, and we don't really think about it. So what is that thing that says to us, oh, you fool, what are you doing with your life? And that answer to that question is this, is church and your community. I know for myself, during that period of time when we were not going to church, God was not foremost in our minds. Going to work and making money and having fun and doing travel, all of which are not bad things, were foremost in our mind. And I was that rich man. That's what I was thinking about. There was nothing in my life to remind me that I will die one day and my soul will be asked to be accounted for. And looking back on that, I realized that I had no good answer, and that I will receive the punishment that is due me. So, I was able to discover, because I didn't understand what church is. It was a membership club. It's like getting a golf membership. It's something you got to do. When you got kids, you got to baptize them because that's what Yaya and Papu want. And then if you're going to get married, you got to do it in the church. So it becomes a place. It's not here. It's a place that you come. Until you realize what it is that church does, then it has no meaning in your life. Those of you that are here now, I know each of you because I see you every Sunday, and I see you participating in what it is that we do in this community. You are constantly being reminded and answering the question of what are you going to do with your life? And you have answered that question, and you are here. Unfortunately, there are, not only here in this parish, but in my previous parishes, there are countless number of funerals that I do, and the family says, he was a good man. Father, if you would have known this good man. Well, I didn't get to see him. Well, he works in a restaurant, Father. You got to understand. He works 20 hours. So he can't be here. Now, is salvation through the church? Yes, it is. According to Orthodox doctrine, salvation comes through the church. But the church is defined as it's defined in the Greek, ekklesia. Right? Ecclesia is not church. Naos is church, the building. The thing that you build, naos. That's church, the building. But ecclesia are the people that form the community. Okay, so is it bad now that this guy worked all his life in a restaurant? No, he provided for his family. He did good and great things. But he has to be, and I'm not just saying he, but she, have to be part of the community that reminds them, that keeps it in their mind, that one day you will die and you will stand before Christ, and he'll ask you the question, τι έκανες με τα ζωή σας? Αυτό είναι τη μεγάλη ερώτηση από του Θεού. Όταν πεθάνεις, θα σε ρωτήσει τώρα, τι έκανες με τη ζωή που εγώ σας έδωκα? What are you going to do with the life that I gave? It's not your life. He gave it to you. So what's the answer to that question? Church answers that question because it puts it in your mind. It put it in my mind. Hey, I was just as busy as everybody else. So I had all these things that I was supposed to do, but you know what? Again, you got to make time for the community, for the ecclesia. Let's not just think about coming to church. I'm not saying coming to church is bad. Coming to church is good. But we have to think in a larger context. What is it that we do for this community to honor God, that gives glory to God? Those are the things that you can answer to Christ when you see him. So this gospel reading today is very important because of the word fool. Those of us who now forget that our lives have been given to us temporarily to prepare us for heaven are in for a rude awakening upon our death. And when I realized that, I became terrified, as you should be. Because what is the very first word that I say when I come out with the cup? I don't say, με του αγάπη του Θεού. That's not what I say. In fact, it's the last thing I say. The first thing that I say, με τα φόβου Θεού. It is not a bad thing to fear God because of those words that are in there. But certainly, it's not a fear of a little child to a parent. It's a recognition of his awesomeness, and that if you behave poorly, fool, you will be accounted then for your soul. So this is something that we have to think on very carefully. And this is one of the things that I notice at every funeral, is all of a sudden people become sober with their lives. When they stare at the person in the casket who is dead, they come to a realization of their mortality. And that's not a bad thing. And so the church, in her compassion, in her explania, does what? Is offers you that witness so that you can look upon that face and that you can see and be reminded not to be that fool that rich man was.